What's up guys, it's Elise and we're back with another video. So today's video is all about abs. So I filmed 10 ab exercises for you guys, which I thought some of them are kind of unique, some of them are generic, just with a little twist. But these ab exercises do a really good job at incorporating your entire core, your lower, middle, upper abs, and even your obliques, which some people call your side abs. I made sure these 10 exercises you could do absolutely anywhere. You do not need any equipment, although some of them you could add some weight if you wanted to kind of make it a progression. So let's just get into the ab exercises. So our first exercise is called a SpiderMan Plank. So you're just going to be on your forearms and you're going to be bringing your outer knee to your outer elbow. So if you're doing your right side, you're going to bring your right knee to your right elbow while you're in the forearm plank. And then on the other side, you'll bring your left knee to your left elbow. So while doing this exercise, you really want to focus on keeping your back as flat as possible and make sure you're not rotating or swaying from side to side while you're bringing your knee. You want to stay in the same position the entire time, and that ensures that you're really working both your obliques and your entire core to stabilize you during this exercise. If this exercise is too hard, you can always go up onto your hands and do this exercise in a straight arm plank. That'll just make it a bit easier for you, and then once you're ready, you can go into the more difficult progression. So our second exercise is called a reverse plank. So this is basically what it sounds like, a plank, except instead of facing the ground, you are facing the ceiling. So your back is going to be facing the mat, and then your front section is going to be facing up. So for this exercise, I decided to add little leg raises in it because that'll focus more on stabilization of the core. Something I really love doing is adding stabilization components to it just to make them more dynamic movements and more all-around effective in building your abs. But if that's too hard, you can always just stay with a normal reverse plank. Once again, you always want to focus on keeping your midsection and your entire body straight. You don't want to be swaying side to side because that can hurt your back. Our third exercise is a straight arm plank with touching opposite arm to opposite foot. So this also works on stabilization, and that's just another component to the classic straight arm plank. It's going to work a bit of your obliques, but mostly the cross section of your abs to really make sure, in other dynamic movements like squats and stuff, that your midsection stays stable. As I was saying, stabilization exercises or adding a stabilization component to your exercises is really good for working multiple muscles in one movement and making it more dynamic and more realistic to everyday life. Once again, while doing this movement, you want to make sure your back stays flat. You don't want to have it arch up or have an arc in it. And you want to make sure to keep it as stable and still as possible throughout all these movements. Our fourth exercise is the final one out of our plank series, I guess, and it's going to be a plank to pike position while touching your opposite hand to your opposite foot. Now this one's similar to the last one but different because during that upward movement from the plank to pike, that is working different movements, and then the reach across will be focusing on your obliques, except it'll be more focusing on your upper obliques than your classic middle lower obliques. So once again, during the whole movement, you don't want to be moving your upper section too much. You want to keep your core stable, reaching as far as you can, using those abs to pull you across, but also making sure your whole midsection isn't going across is really what's going to burn your sides and make those abs burn. So now onto our fifth exercise. This is kind of a normal play on leg raises, except I'm adding an extra component in them, which are frog kicks or pulses or whatever you want to call them. So you're going to be doing a normal leg raise and then a frog kick in between, and that'll be one set or one rep, I guess. And adding the frog kick in there really focuses on incorporating not only your lower abs, but your lower side abs too, and more those middle abs, instead of just your middle. D'accord, ça va.
Okay.
Merci.
Bisous, bye.
Bisous, au revoir. So as I was saying, adding that extra component from the leg raise and then the little frog kicks really going to help at working your whole lower ab section instead of just your classic two six-pack abs, I guess, the ones down through the middle of your core. So now onto our sixth exercise, which I call toe taps. So you're going to be lying on your back. You always want to make sure to keep your back flat on the mat, pulling your belly button to the back of the mat just to make sure you keep your back in a solid position so you don't risk injury. And then you're going to be tapping one toe to the ground while the other stays up. In this exercise, you want your arms kind of at a 45-degree angle, not right above you, but kind of like through your ears, I guess, if that makes any sense. And that'll just be pulling your abs the opposite direction. So while you're kind of stretching your abs while pulling your arms the other way and having one leg go down, that'll work again on the cross section of your abs, but also it'll help work more of that lean muscle. Or not lean muscle, like that lean definition type of stuff. You know what I'm saying. Our 7th exercise are called crossbody touches, and these are basically exactly what they sound like. You're going to be lying on your back, and your opposite arm is going to reach up above you and touch your opposite foot. Again, you always want to make sure your back stays on the ground. You do not want your back arching during these exercises because that is very bad for your back. And you also won't work your abs as much if your back is curving. So that's kind of an added ab element with part of the exercise, but like kind of added. That you're constantly thinking, making that mind-body connection of pulling your stomach to the mat and keeping your back flat against the mat. There we go. I forget what number we're at. Our 8th exercise are star crunches. So for this exercise, you're going to be lying on your back with your feet 45 or 90 degrees up in the air, and you're going to start with your legs spread apart, and as you bring your legs together in the middle, you're going to go up in a crunch. And then when you go back down, your legs are going to spread again. This works your upper abs, but also your obliques because you're focusing on stabilizing your legs and bringing them together. It'll also work your abductors and your hips. So once again, when you're on your way down, you want to make sure that your whole back comes down flat. You're not arching your back. And you want to make sure to keep your lower abs tucked in and tight during this whole exercise to really focus on keeping that back against the ground. So our 9th exercise, to be honest, I'm not quite sure what to call this, but we're going to call it a reverse plank with a crossbody touch. It's kind of a play on a reverse plank, kind of a play on our crossbody touches as we were doing, but this time you're going to do them together, and it's going to work on different muscles. Who's surprised? So this exercise, you're kind of going to be in a reverse table position, and you're going to, once again, opposite arm to opposite foot above you. And this one, you want to focus on stability and slowness. You don't really want to try it as fast as you can. The slower you do it, the more you're going to have to stabilize your body, which is going to work your core more than if you're just rushing through it and kind of like wobbling all over the place. So you want to go slow and steady, and you want to keep your midsection as flat and stable as possible. You want to make sure you're not swaying side to side like usual. Slow, controlled movements are always the best and most effective and the safest for your body. So our 10th, last, final exercise, whatever you want to call it, also don't really know what to call this one, but I'm going to call it, it's a play on the exercise called dead bug. I mean, people have definitely done this before. I'm not making it up, I just don't know what it's called. But you're going to take both arms, you're going to start in a dead bug position, and then instead of just doing one arm, one leg, you're going to be doing both arms and both legs. If you want to do this without weight, you totally can. I chose to add a weight in to show you guys how I did it with weight. So you're going to hold it as you go flat. Always make sure to keep your back towards the mat with the weight, and then once you go back to normal position, you're going to pass the weight from your hands, put it on your shins or knees or whatever feels most comfortable for you, and then you're going to do the exact same movement, except this is going to work your lower abs more when the weight's on your legs, and your upper abs more when the weight's on your, or like weights being held in your hands. So this is just an element of adding like different types of resistance and stabilization in different ways. If you don't have a weight and you want to do this at home, because you can do these exercises anywhere, anytime, you have no excuse. You can use a textbook, you can use a container with like beans in it, you can literally use anything flat that'll stay on your shins. Or if you just want to do it holding it in your hand, you don't even have to switch the weight. You can use a can of beans or anything like that too. So those are my 10 exercises. I hope you guys thought those were useful and helpful in any way. If you guys didn't know any of these exercises and I enlightened you somehow, then make sure to let me know. That'd be kind of cool. I mean, it means I actually did something on here. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Just remember, you do not have any excuse not to do these ab exercises. You can do them at home, at the gym, on vacation, on the beach, literally anywhere. You can do them camping. That was random, but like, you know what I mean. You can do them in the middle of your office. You can do them on the bathroom floor. Please don't do that. That's disgusting. I don't know why I said that. But yeah, so you can literally do these anywhere, anytime. No equipment needed. No excuse. Go get fit. But yeah, thanks for watching. Love you guys. Bye.